Hurling first up again tonight as All-Ireland champions Kilkenny travel to Cork looking to book their place in this year's league semi-finals. The league champions Dublin had one last chance to avoid the relegation playoff when they took on Tipperary in Croke Park last night. Then it's football in the spring series again as Dublin and Donegal met at HQ for the first time since that infamous encounter last August. Last July, Mayo knocked Cork out of the championship for the first time since 1916. They met again today in Castlebar with two very valuable points up for grabs. Hello and welcome to League Sunday. I hope that you've been enjoying the good weather and there's plenty to enjoy here on League Sunday as well. Well, the action coming up shortly, and I'm also joined here at the moment by Tomás Mulcahy to review all of the hurling. And then later on, Kevin McStay will be along to look at all that's been happening in football. So then, our first venue tonight is Páirc Uí Chaoimh, where Kilkenny made the trip hoping to maintain their unbeaten run and their place at the top of Division 1A. Well, Cork, for their part, also hoping to be in the semi-final reckoning. Our commentator by the banks of the Lee was Darragh Maloney.
Cork make three changes after their loss to Galway here last Sunday. Sean O'Halpine moves to right half back with Darren Sweetenham now at midfield. Stephen McDonnell is named at full back and Owen Cadigan is included at centre back for Cork today. There's a league debut for Willie Phelan of Kilkenny at left corner back. He won a minor All-Ireland with the county 2 years ago. Kieran Joyce makes his first start of the year at wing back. Owen Murphy lines out at corner forward. Owen is also the sub-goalkeeper on the Kilkenny panel. Huge puck out from Herity, deep inside Cork territory, and that is a lovely score. Kilkenny and Michael Rice with the first point from play in the match in the 12th minute. Jamie Callan. Paul Murphy making it very difficult for him. Cork could do with a score. They could do with a score, and they've got a score. And it's a wonderful point from Pat Horgan. Horgan has got all three of the Cork scores. That's their first from play. Beautiful catch by Brian Hogan. Hogan, well, Cork just let him at it. TJ Reid couldn't get his hand on that. Owen Larkin there, now Sean O gets involved. And it's back to Power, and Power fires it over. And he is on fire today. Really got his eye in with those 4 frees in a row. And he's been scoring them from all over the place. 3 points between them. Brian Hogan of Kilkenny. Richie Power now in at full forward. Sweetenham can't get close to him on that occasion. Chance for Kilkenny, appeals for a penalty, and the referee Michael Wadding is giving a penalty to Kilkenny. Richie Power, the player, fouled, and it was actually Brian Murphy who pulled the Kilkenny man back. Kilkenny have a 1-point advantage, and it could really swell now with Richie Power's penalty. Drills it through, and a wonderful goal from Richie Power. The sweetest of strikes, and Donal Óg and his two buddies back on the line couldn't get near it. That's a wonderful strike right between Cadigan and Donal Óg Cusack. Cork have got to regroup after the shock of the last couple of minutes and a potential flashpoint. And Owen Larkin been spoken to by Michael Wadding, and getting a bit of a lecture is the Kilkenny captain just at this moment. Lorcan McLaughlin with the free for Cork. O'Sullivan goal for Cork. Well, that's a proper response from the home team. Páidí O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan seemed to knock it down for himself. Kilkenny concede the goal, and a point between them again. Cork knocking on that door again. Can they get closer? Had a period like this during the first half. Conor Lehane was at the centre of that too. They clawed their way back into the game. Jamie Callan, crowd behind him love it. 2 in a row. 2 really good points from distance, and a point between them. But can they get closer? Michael Fennelly. Well, Matthew Ruth took his eye off it, and Stephen McDonald relieved, and very relieved to be able to make some hay. Has to keep running forward with it. That's Aidan Fogarty behind him, the fullback. Puts that in towards Jamie Calden. Paddy O'Sullivan waiting. Lahan is joining too. They have options, loads of options. Pat Horgan, a point will bring them level, and they're going to do that from the free. Willie Phelan dragging Cork's Pat Horgan down. Should be and is converted, and the side's level. Cork have scored the last 3 in a row. It's 10 minutes since Kilkenny last scored. Hickey's clearance for Kilkenny. Owen Cadigan across there with Richie Power for company, and Cadigan dragged back by Richie Power. He doesn't think it was a free at all, but he did impede his progress, and the arm was up around the neck of Cadigan. Scored from this distance with his first free of the game, Pat Horgan. And what's he done here? He's put that over, and Cork go in front for only the second time in the match. Sean O'Halpine, lovely sidestep, classic sidestep. He had to hurry to get rid of it, and he did. Pat Cronin put the hand up, he got it at the second attempt. McCarthy goes to ground, and Cronin with a wonderful score for Cork. Well, Sean O'Halpine's precise pass found Pat Cronin, who needed 2 attempts to get it, but didn't need asking twice before slotting it over. Oh, and a wild pull in there, and a reaction as well, and the referee frantically blowing the whistle. The notebook is out straight away. It was a wild pull from Richie Power, and a straight red card for Richie Power. And there is the full-time whistle, and it's a famous win for this new Cork team. They have travelled quite a distance already under Jimmy Barry Murphy. Cork have beaten Kilkenny here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh by 117 to 115.
We were delighted to win, but Darragh, to be honest, we were very disappointed last Sunday. We played well against Galway in the first half and didn't play well at all in the second half. So today we wanted to address that and see could we maintain our intensity for the second half today. So I'm pleased about that more than anything else.
Yeah, strong finish by Cork, and that's a good response after last week's defeat by Galway. And indeed, Tomás Mulcahy, that win today now puts Cork back in the ball game again, if you like, in terms of the league semi-finals. Yeah, it puts them in the right position, I suppose. I mean, that was probably the determination that was in their play today, losing the way they did against Galway last weekend, you know, and they certainly put her up to Kilkenny in a lot of areas today. And I think Jimmy will be happy with the overall effort of the team, the commitment, the desire and stuff, and to get the win out, as you say, it does put them in the frame for the next game against Tipperary to actually win a league semi-final spot. We talked here, Tomás, on the programme a couple of weeks ago about this present Cork team and the job that Jimmy has in terms of the blending of some of the experienced players, like obviously Donal O'Cusick, 35 during the week, Sean O'Halpine and so forth, and some of the young lads that are coming in, this injection of youth into the team. Yeah, when the team was picked, Michael, this week, people were looking at it, and you had seen Sean O'Halpine for the last 2 matches at midfield, and he was getting a bit of game time there. But when the team section came around, Sean O was put back into wing back, and that was basically because of the young partnership that you have in Kilkenny, and you have Michael Fennelly and Michael Rice. So they put Lachlan O'Loughlin in there, and they put this guy Darren Sweetman in there, 2 youngsters, and what they did today was very effective. They actually stopped the runs, particularly of Michael Fennelly, like Michael Rice, that we've seen so many times in the past, getting through the centre. And there was huge commitment, huge work rate around the middle of the park. Here we see Sweetman, he's on Richie Power, forces Richie Power to put a ball across the field, and this is in the closing stages of the match. And Cork win a free and actually pushed themselves a point ahead. So, I mean, a bit of youth, a bit of strength, a bit of physique, and guys that love the physical presence in the middle of the park worked certainly for Cork today. And Cork hurling fans will be happy to see Sweetman playing in the Cork jersey because he's spoiled for choice in his sporting career. He is spoiled for choice, I suppose. He's a talented hockey player. I believe he's on the Munster under 19 development squad as well in rugby. So it's great to see that he's given Cork hurling a go at this stage, and he certainly is one for the future. We saw a sending off for Kilkenny today. They also had a couple of bookings during that match. Were they all deserved, do you think? Yeah, I suppose when people look at it and you see 5 yellow cards for Kilkenny, a red card as well. I mean, some of them were, look, you see here, there's no need for Owen Larkin to react. The free was given. He pushes
Lachlan O'Loughlin in the back, and Michael Watt is probably correct. He does give him a yellow card because a melee could have occurred straight after that. Here we see a situation as well. TJ Reid, it's a flick of the hurley across the face, and look, it is a yellow card offence. Yeah. We've seen in the past some of these can maybe red card offences as well. Other situations, there was another yellow card given to Richie Hogan, which was totally unfair. He played the ball. This is probably the controversial one. To me, when you look at it again, the ball is in the air. Yes, it is a one-handed swing. Would I give him a red card? No, I wouldn't. Maybe a yellow card was warranted there. Richie Power isn't a dirty player. That was towards the end of the game. I didn't think it warranted a red card, to be honest.
All right, Tom, thanks for that. Now, the defending league champions Dublin have had a frustrating campaign so far. They're playing fairly well, but nothing to show for it up to this weekend. Well, last night at Páirc Uí Chaoimh, the opposition was Tipperary, a county eyeing up a place in the league semi-finals themselves. Now, our commentator on this one is Marty Morrissey.
Anthony Daly picks a Dublin team that looks strong down the middle. Shane Durkin and Simon Lambert form a formidable centre-field partnership with Liam Rush at 10, probably roaming in that general vicinity as well. There are two late changes on the Tipperary selection. Out goes Paul Curran and Conor O'Mahony at full and centre-back, and coming in is Conor O'Brien and John Coughlin. So it really is picture perfect for an afternoon of great entertainment, with Dublin in particular really having to win to have any chance of avoiding relegation. First attack, drops over the crossbar. Off the stick of Alan McCrath. Puck out from Darren Gleeson is again short. This time it's Brendan Marr. Nice pickup by Pa Buck. Given an extended run in the starting 15. Backfires Brendan Marr. Going for the point. The umpires are perfectly positioned, but going for the flag, it's registered as Tipperary's second point of the game. Dublin manager Anthony Daly. The National League champions of 2011 are playing quite well, it must be said. Here's Sutcliffe going for a second point and getting it. Coming across here is Rory Traynor. Joey Boland is the centre-half back for Dublin. Niall Corcoran gets it back, fires Paul Schutte. Down fires David O'Callaghan. Providing support is Liam Rush. Called for it, and now he has it. Heading towards the 20. Thought about the shot there. Gives it inside to Dillon. Good save by Darren Gleeson. But Liam Rush set up Eamon Dillon. He hit a rasper here, and Gleeson did well. Batted it out with a hurl, and his defence were there to back him up. Ball given away to Liam Rush. Can the error be punished? Super. Liam Rush, second point of the match. Staying along that far over sideline. Joey Boland flicking, powers Rory Traynor. Didn't get much distance. Brendan Marr sends it into the middle. Noel McGrath given just half a space, half an opportunity. He will inflict pain on the opposition in terms of scores on the board. Not a bad ball into the centre. David O'Callaghan lets it for Tracy. What an impact, a substitute. A rocket! A brilliant goal! A man who came in at half-time for Eamon Dillon has significantly added to the firepower of this Dublin attack. And Darren Gleeson was left diving across his goal line, but unable to reach the sliotar as it pillowed the back of the net. Thomas Stapleton flicking it far as James Woodlock. Challenged by Reiner Dwyer and Tracy. Lays it off far as Pa Buck. On the turn, it's looking good. It's his 6th point of the match and his first from play. Puck out is aimed at Danny Sutcliffe. Boris O'Brien coming back to Gallup. There's a chance here. Difficult angle. Very difficult angle. Niall McMurrow deserves the round of applause in Croke Park. McCaffrey shows leadership. in a very much a 50-50 tussle. It's David O'Callaghan skipping away from the challenge, lays it off. There's a chance here for Dublin to equalise, and they take it. And it's that man McMurrough. Number 21 McMurrough has scored 2 points in the last 5 minutes of the game. Picked up again by Noel McGrath. Gets the call from John O'Brien on the turn. Hits it sweetly. Hits it inside the post and over the bar. Is Anthony Daly's team to go down again? O'Mara has the hurl on the turn. It's dropping and Gary Maguire can only wave at it. O'Mara has scored 5 points, all of them from play, and surely that gives Tipperary not just a 3-point advantage, but the 2 points, valuable 2 points in this Allianz League. In the centre, Joey Boland. Here comes the missile. It's dropping. Liam Rush is underneath it, and he has it. Great. Can he shoot? Shoots, and he scores. There is an equaliser in Croke Park. 73 minutes on the clock. He gathers it, takes quite a few steps, and gets it under the body of Darren Gleeson. The referee, Brian Gavin, blows the full-time whistle, and Dublin finally get their just desserts with at least a point in the Allianz National Hurling League. It ends up Dublin 2-15, Tipperary 21 points.
Fantastic to get something out of it. A great relief in the dressing room, even though not enough to. We're in the relegation final now, probably, if you can call it a final. I suppose no one wanted to be in it, but it was great to get the result at the end of the day.
10 minutes in the second half would have taken a draw there, but to go 3 points up with time just up, disappointing to give away the goal at the finish there, but full credit to Dublin, the way they battled on there.
Yeah, still no win for Dublin in Division 1A, but at least that dramatic draw last night throws them a bit of a lifeline. I know, Tomas, that Anthony Daly is scratching his head a little bit about this campaign because he has them in a good place in sense of their attitude and commitment and so on, but the place might also be Division 2 next year.
Yeah, they're definitely in a relegation battle at this stage, Michael. And when you look at the scoring rate they've had and the level of competition that had year to date with those matches, you'd be saying, how have they only got 1 point on the board, And it's incredible. I mean, last year they set their stall out certainly to win the league campaign. This year is probably a bit different because they faded in the championship with the efforts that they put into the league campaign. Yeah. So this time around, it's about progress, and it's about getting injury free and getting all those people that are injury back, that you have a squad of fit players to pick from when it comes to championship. Yeah, he will be worried that they're down a relegation battle, but I think they're good enough to actually stay up in Division 1 for next year.
Tom, let's talk about Tipperary. You were pressed last night with Brian O'Mara. Now, Brian named at number 14, but played some of his best turning out the field in actual fact.
He did indeed, yeah. And look, everybody has been speaking, I suppose, over the last number of weeks about the Lark Corbett absence and stuff as well. And also, somebody must take up the mantle at the edge of the square. And this man last night was a powerhouse, being honest with you, getting 5 points from play. I mean, number 14 on the back, you'd say he was going to be in around the edge of the square because he's that kind of physical presence, but he wasn't. And here, look, it's all about power, it's about strength, and having a bit of confidence as well to go at his man, loses it on the ground, gets back up again and off the left hand, and that's a great score as well. And as I said, 5 points for play, it's a great return, and I'm sure Declan Ryan will be delighted with that, because when you have a guy of a physical presence like this, a lot of players would play off him because a lot of ball would be breaking off him, but last night everything went right for Brian O'Mara, and I'm sure he's put his name in contention now for that full forward slot come championship time.
Coming back to Dublin again, if Anthony Daly is to bring Dublin on from where they were last year, and they did well last year, they need other aspects to their game. Everybody recognises that. One of them is getting something out of a situation that looks lost. Now, they did that last night.
They did, certainly. And I mean, like, they have been I suppose, they've been unfortunate against Cork. They would have felt maybe they should have won that match. Last weekend against Kilkenny, scored an awful lot. That would have won 2 matches with the score that they had last week at 5-12. But this was cracking last night. I mean, end result, Liam Rush has nothing else in his mind to go high and grab the ball. And difficult to do in lights as well, but yeah. People would probably point to the steps maybe he took and stuff like that. I never worried about steps when it came to situations like that. Liam Rush had nothing else in his mind last night when he grabbed that grab ball was to get the equalising goal, and win deserved by Dublin.
All right, Tom. Time for us to take a break here on League Sunday. Now, coming up after that, it's more from the Allianz Hurling League, Waterford against Galway and Limerick versus Offaly, and that's right after these. Now, more sport here on RTE2 television tomorrow night. MNS is here on this channel at 7 o'clock, and that's a roundup of all that's been happening over the weekend in the Airtricity League. But now back here on League Sunday, 2 more games from the Alliance Hurling League over the weekend. In a little while, the meeting of Limerick and Offaly at the Gaelic grounds last night. But before that, a very important trip to Galway for a Waterford side under pressure. Reporting on that one is Catherine Davis.
After losing their opening 3 games and the resignation of selector Nicky Cashin during the week, Waterford manager Michael Ryan had plenty to think about against Galway this afternoon. The visitor had started well and were 3 points up in the opening 10 minutes, which no doubt would have pleased new selector Ken McGrath. However, Galway stayed in touch, with the in-form Niall Burke leaving just 2 points between them with some 25 minutes gone. Both teams were then reduced to 14 in the space of 2 minutes, with first Shane O'Sullivan and then Galway cornerback Declan Connolly both sent off for second yellows. Despite 7 first-half wides, Waterford led by 8 points to 5 at the break, thanks to points like this from John Milan. Galway started the second half strongly, with great scores from Niall Donoghue and Conor Cooney, but this was short-lived. The superb John Milan set up Waterford full forward Shane Walsh, and he made no mistake from close range. Walsh's collision with Galway keeper James Skell saw the Galway number 1 stretchered off with a shoulder injury. In a much improved second half, points from Galway's David Burke, Barry Daly and sub Joseph Cooney left just a point between the sides in the closing minutes. But it wasn't enough. Shane Walsh's injury time score sealing a much needed and well-deserved 2-point victory for Waterford. It finished Waterford 114, Galway 15 points.
Yeah, it was a big performance. We always felt there was a big performance on the team. The most disappointing part of the last 3 games, we didn't play well. It wasn't even about the results, it was the fact we didn't play well. We knew coming up here to Galway today we had to play from the first whistle to the last whistle, and I thought we showed a fantastic attitude. We had a good team meeting last night, we trained well during the week, and I felt we were coming together, and certainly the performance today reflected that.
Yeah, we had a good comeback there in the last 10 or 15 minutes. I suppose 1 or 2 balls there, maybe drop short, 1 or 2 into the goalie's hands there as well, so maybe 1 or 2 misses as well, so it was disappointing, very disappointed now, because a win would have put us into the league semi-final.
It's no secret that when I went for this job 5 months ago, I sat down in Ken McGrath's house and tried to convince him to get involved in the setup. He said the timing wasn't right, he had just finished playing. Circumstances changed a little bit during the week. I wish Nicky all the best. We're delighted to have Ken on board.
Offaly travelled to the Gaelic grounds in Limerick last night, knowing a defeat would almost certainly end their interest in this year's league campaign. Level after 10 minutes, they struck a crucial blow when a long delivery into the edge of the square broke loose and was pulled on first time by Shane Dooley, giving goalkeeper Nicky Quaid no chance. Limerick had a goal of their own in the 28th minute when Conor Alice marauded his way through the Offaly defence before slipping to Niall Moran, who cleverly finished a drawn match again. Limerick secured a 1-point advantage at the break when they raised another green flag through substitute Sean Tobin, who turned his man well and finished neatly in the corner, leaving the score 2-6 to 1-7 at half-time. Limerick began the second half well, pushing into a 6-point lead, and their substitute Ger Helian had a significant impact, setting up Conor Mahan for this goal. While Mahan returned the favour with a dangerous cut landing in the square, and Helian, to his credit, was first to pounce, with the faithful now a single point in arrears heading down the home stretch. Limerick responded, however, and pushed back into a 3-point lead when Graham Mulcahy made no mistake from close range. And then late replacement Shawnee O'Brien executed an excellent individual score, which looked to have secured the victory for the home side. Offaly, to their credit, didn't give up. Brendan Murphy split the defence and put Sean Ryan in for a goal chance, which was stopped with what looked like a fair shoulder by Tom Condon. Cork referee Cathal McAllister didn't agree, and the Knockadary man was sent off for a second yellow on the back of it. 3 points down, time almost up, and a penalty to save the day. Step forward Shane Dooley to keep Offaly's league hopes alive with his share of the spoils, and a scoreline of Limerick 2-16, Offaly 4-10.
A very dubious decision, I suppose, decided the game at the end, but we certainly had enough chances probably before that to have put the game away.
I suppose a bit of controversy as to whether it was or not a penalty, but look, we'll take it. I don't think our performance merited that we get something out of it, but I mean, like, the lads fought hard, battled hard throughout the whole game, and took their chances near the end, and thankfully we got a result out of it.
Yeah, an honest assessment there by Ollie Baker of the situation, and referred to the controversial penalty at the end. Was it a penalty for you, Tomas?
Again, I mean, I've watched it again today, Michael, and certainly I like Colin McAllister as a referee, because most of the occasions he's very slow to blow the whistle, and he will always give the advantage to the tough play. To me, it wasn't a penalty last night, in my view, because this is all about timing, right? And I think Tom Condon as a cornerback, his timing is perfect here. It's a pass into the open space. The forward is running onto it. Look, and you watch it here, it is shoulder to shoulder, and like, to me, that was a fair tackle, and maybe a bit harsh justice on Limerick. But Limerick should never have put themselves in that position. They were coasting at second half period in the game, and were lucky to survive in the end. They weren't 2 points ahead when the penalty was given at that stage, you know. So, yeah, harsh justice, I thought, on the sending off.
Let's go back to the game that we saw before that, the one between Galway and Waterford. Now, I said, leading in, a very important game for Waterford. Lost a selector during the week, Ken McGrath coming in. I understand another selector has stepped down tonight from Waterford. Had they lost that one, manager Michael Ryan was in a bit of bother.
Yeah, I mean, two things, Michael. I mean, after Dublin drawn last night, I mean, we knew that Dublin weren't going to be able to qualify for the knockout stages, so it was down to Waterford. You saying Waterford going to Galway today, that Galway, on the basis of a win against Cork last weekend, would actually win this one, and it was going to be next week, or the next game, Dublin and Waterford, was going to be a meaningless game because there was a knockout relegation battle after that. That didn't turn out the way today, and I mean, you must give great credit for Waterford going to Galway. Not too many teams have gone there and won these matches. Certainly was a big stroke by Waterford County Board when Nicky Cashin went this week to actually get Ken McGrath involved in the selection process there, because Ken is well respected, he would be well loved by the players and the supporters alike below in Waterford as well, so that was a big coup.
OK, let's take a look at the league tables as they stand after 3 rounds then. Of course, that's the situation at the top, Tomas. But let's talk about that relegation scenario. Dublin are in it, and it'll be either Galway or Waterford then.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, that's the surprising thing for me about Galway. You know, one good weekend, next thing a bad weekend. You had an opportunity to put themselves into a semi-final. Now they can be looking at themselves. They must go to play Kilkenny in Nolan Park, lose that one, and they're more than likely, if Waterford beat Dublin, that they're in a relegation battle. That's not good for Dublin or Waterford to be in a relegation situation, or even Galway.
Davy Fitz still happy down in Clare?
Yes, you know, I mean, when we looked at this at the start, right, we would have pinpointed Clare to be on top of the board realistically. Limerick and Offaly again, right, very, very tight here. You would expect maybe Limerick to push on now and secure that second position, right? And this is interesting about this, right, is that it isn't clear if they win their remaining game that they've won their 5 matches that will automatically go into the semi-final. I think that is an absolute farce, being honest with you, because Limerick managed to get second here after losing a game against Clare. They're still in a promotion playoff.
And finally, look at Division 2A, and Carlow look like they're going to be playing some of those other counties that we saw there, the Offaly's, whoever will be in Division 1B next year if they leave the format the same, of course.
Isn't it fantastic to see? I know I've argued with you here last year about the format of the league and stuff like that, and I just see the way Carlow and Westmeath are going, and they're interested in hurling down there. They're performing very, very well. They maybe should be looking to put them up a step closer into Division 1B, because I think it would do wonders for their strength of hurling within those counties. All
right. OK, so at this stage here on the programme, we're going to have to say goodbye to Tomas Mackay, because after the commercial break, Kevin McStay will be here with us as we turn our attention to the Alliance Football League. It's Dublin versus Donegal right after these. And you're welcome back again to League Sunday, and welcome also to Kevin McStay as we turn our attention to the main events in the Alliance Football League over the weekend. And first up on the agenda for us is the meeting of Dublin and Donegal at Croke Park last night. Now, this was a fixture last August which redefined Pat Spillan's puke football. Would this one be any better? The commentator is Ger Canning.
Ten of these Dublin players started last year's All-Ireland semi-final against Donegal, while Philly McMahon, Kevin McMenamin and Eamon Fennell made strong contributions as subs. Diarmuid Connolly will remember it for another reason. He was shown a controversial red card in the second half, which was later rescinded. Donegal start here with 9 of the team beaten by Dublin last August. Rory Kavanagh's suspension means a return to midfield duty for Martin McElhenney. and an injury for Colin McFadden means a start tonight for his clubmate at St Michael's, Christy Toy. Eddie Kinsella from Laois gets it all underway, and it's Dublin who win the opening possession here with Eamon Fennell. And a chance for Paul Flynn then to really get it going inside towards his captain, Brian Cullen, 20 metres from the target, and there's the opening score of the match. 15 seconds gone. What a start by Dublin. Mostly hand passing by Donegal. Here's a chance for Murphy. He's got 1 point already from a free, and he's got another one. Moves so powerfully, yet so gracefully for a big man, and he's made it 3 points to 2. Dublin coming again. Paul Flynn now, belting it in, looking for Alan Brogan. The defenders were in difficulty. Comes back to Brogan, some time of asking. Got away from Anthony Thompson, and he has kicked it beautifully over. His first score, 4-2. Well, they're going across the field, Donegal, needing to make progress. Needing to cut infield, maybe here. Again, it's Michael Murphy inevitably, attracting 2-3 Dublin defenders to him. Quick release off in the end, and that ball is kicked smartly over the bar by the wing half-back, Anthony Thompson. It was set up for him by Murphy, but he was kicking from 30 metres out, and he's put 2 between them once again. Alan Brogan. Swiftly in once again, and Dublin with Kevin Nolan advancing. Might go for a score himself. They're all queuing up for it, and the goalkeeper somehow touches it over when the goal was there for the taking, and Eamon Fennell was trying to bury it in the back of Paul Durkin's net. That's some save. That's a good ball forward. That's a really good ball as far as Carol Lacey. Prospects here, 3 men against him, and it's lost, and it's Sean Murray who can't quite kick it away. Michael Murphy comes back, retrieves it, and from 35 metres out kicks it over the bar. That's much better by Donegal, and they've got the first 2 scores of the second half. Dean Rock, strongly built lad, lost by Kevin McMenamin, regained by Leo McClune of Donegal, challenged unfairly then and fouled by Dean Rock. Referee made a note of it, no card. Neil Gallagher swiftly inside here as far as Neil McGee, the full back, and Neil McGee kicks it over, his first point in this year's Alliance League, and it's put Donegal within a point of Dublin. Are they about to turn this match around completely? Sean Murray goes back. Paul Flynn. Oh, that was a good pass all the way to Connolly. Neatly taken up here. Dean Rock, and he's kicked it over the bar. So many times in the past, his dad Barney was a star for Dublin. The fans loved him, and now they're getting a flavour of what the younger Rock is capable of doing, and that was a sweetly taken point. 3 between them. Anthony Thompson. A goal for Donegal would certainly change the complexion of all of this, and Cluxton has to produce a great save. How this game could have turned again with about 6 minutes to go had McBrearty managed to get it by Cluxton. Macaulay. Into the corner comes Brian Cullen, slipping away. Cullen to finish it. Cullen scores! 71 minutes of the contest gone, and now it's well and truly beyond Donegal, and Dublin lead 116 to 13 points. And it's up with Diarmuid Connolly. Now can he round off this match in style? 3 against 3. Connolly dummying, soloing and scoring. 2 in a row for Dublin. Another one for Diarmuid Connolly. His 4th goal in this year's Alliance League, and it comes in the 73rd minute. Lovely finish. 216 to 13 points, and it is all over at Croke Park, and the Dubs have got the points. They were in the end convincing victors, and it finishes here at Croke Park. Dublin 2 goals and 16 points. Donegal 13 points.
We made a lot of unforced errors there when we were going forward, which really caused us a lot of problems at the start of the second half in particular. And maybe our finishing wasn't what it should have been in the first half, but by and large we were at the intensity tonight that we weren't at last week, so that was a big improvement.
It looked like we were going to get something from the game, but at least we got a good second half performance, and I suppose it goes down to the wire now on the last day of the league, and we'll look forward to that now in 2 weeks' time, and then our focus will move to Championship.
Well, a big finish by Dublin, and that means that there will be indeed a tense finish to this league campaign for Donegal. Kevin McStay, Dublin fans will be quite happy with the way they're going at the moment. Without extending themselves, they are tipping away very nicely.
Yeah, great position in the league now to make the semi-finals. A little bit of work to do because of the postponed match against Mayo, but you'd have to fancy to be in those semi-finals. They love playing in Croke Park. When they get their intensity right, as they did last night, they are very, very formidable, and I really enjoyed the match. That was a super match. Donegal won't be too disappointed either, but Dublin are a form team at the moment.
There's no doubt about that. Donegal will be disappointed, but one thing, the injury picked up by Michael Murphy in that match.
Yeah, and in the context of the match, I was just looking at his numbers. He scored 6. I counted him in as assisting in 5 more. They only scored 13. And he wasn't there for the last 15 minutes of the game. So they'll pray that that injury is not significant. He's a marvellous player, and they have to get more. If they don't get more than Michael Murphy in the Championship, they're going to have the same old problem, not scoring enough.
All right, Kev. Next year on the programme, we head to McHale Park in Castlebar. Now, Cork were the visitors today as Mayo tried to steady the ship after a few disappointing results in the last few weeks. The commentator in the West this afternoon was Marty Morrissey.
Producing consistently good performances is Mayo manager James Horan's biggest problem, so he's hoping this team will deliver a winning display. Colin Boyle at cornerback is the only late change to the starting 15 that sees Seamus O'Shea and Barry Moran at midfield. The big news from the Cork dressing room is that Graham Canty is out due to hamstring problems, with Sean Kiley from Macroom getting his starting orders. Mark Collins is flanked by Fintan Gould and Patrick Kelly in a half-forward line, while Aidan Walsh is again named at full forward. It's a beautiful day in McHale Park, Castlebar, with both of these teams very much in contention in terms of the Allianz National Football League and its destination, but also in terms of relegation, so it's a double-edged sword. Down far is Michael Conroy. Nobody in and around the house, so he has to shoot from there. What about that for a score? First ball, first touch, and the Mayo people applaud. Paudie Cassar, Alan O'Connor, here's O'Neill, back for his own Potter. Sean Kiley. Well gathered. Patrick Kelly's effort is very high. The umpires concur that it's good enough. As a Mayo player down off camera, the linesman has come in, and Joe McQuillan is now going down to one of his team of officials, and depending on the information given, it will be straight red, much to the disappointment of the Cork manager, Conor Coonahan. Picked up by Potter Gardner. Nice ball inside. Comes out for his Alan Dillon. What about the finish? It's top class. Sean Kiley in space. Donegal O'Connor goes right, and he goes to Aidan Walsh down the left wing. Walsh. Back for Sean Kiley. Fintan Gould is over there as well. Paul Kerrigan gives it to Kiley. Hits it, and that is over the bar. Well won by Andy Moore. The dirty ball is recalled. Down first Conor Mortimer, taking on his marker and lashing it over the bar for his second point of the match, and Mortimer is making an impact. Alan O'Connor, Paul Kerrigan, surge forward. Donegal O'Connor on the turn and on the score sheet. Kerrigan goes for distance. 2 against 2 up here. One of them is in. Laws to O'Connor. Oh, and that's a fabulous block down by Ger Cafferty. Remember, Mayo playing with an extra man. This is the 35th minute. Just in the stroke of half-time. Paul Kerrigan is having a pop. And it's a successful one. Good play by Kerrigan. Skips away from several challenges. Aidan Walsh on the turn. And that is a really quality score. The referee has blown his whistle. Let's see what happened here. There's no doubt about it that Alan O'Connor was fouled, and subsequently Aidan Walsh. Yellow card for Alan Dillon, and a second yellow means that Alan Dillon has gone off. Looking for it is Paul Kerrigan. Sean Kiley was the person who delivered. Kerrigan takes the shot, and Kerrigan scores. Magnificent point by Paul Kerrigan. It draws Mayo and Cork level into injury time. Kassan going for the winner, and it comes off the post, but it's still there. Donnacha O'Connor making an angle, and Donnacha O'Connor scoring. The referee blows the full-time whistle. Full-time score in McHale Park, Castlebar. Cork 14 points, Mayo 13.
You know, played poorly for a lot of that game, just a bit of experience in the finish told. But look, very pleased at the same time that we did show that bit of battle in the finish and edge out to win. But, you know, I think we'd be cutting ourselves if we didn't say there was a lot of cracks there that we need to fill in terms of, you know, our overall performance.
Well, Cork moving into a good position in the league, but that's defeat number 3 for Mayo in this campaign. I know Kevin McStay is disappointed with that. Kevin, was that a match won or a match lost?
I'd say lost. Mayo will have to feel they lost it. You know, the snatching defeat just when it was there for the taking. There were 5 or 6 up, 5 up I think at one stage, man up last quarter of the game. You'd imagine they could have closed it out. But you have to play for the full 70, and Cork did, showed a lot of experience, and they're better players, they're bigger players, really came into it in that period and were able to get it. But I think Cork will feel they snatched it, and Mayo will feel they let it slip.
Well, I think that was accepted and admitted afterwards. But let's look at that Cork comeback and how they worked their way into this game, because it didn't look like that, say, half-time.
Well, it was a brave decision to bring in Paul Kerrigan for Colm O'Neill. But he made some impact, and some of the scores he got were absolutely magnificent. This one's with his right from distance. Paddy Kelly was also there, Michael, giving a real hand, and Donnacha O'Connor stepped it up fantastically well. And they're the 3 key players they have at the moment. Okay, they have a lot of injuries, but they're really holding it together. And this win now puts them, changes the whole attitude of Cork to the league now. Now they're back in. Look at the way he takes on Keith Higgins, Mayo's best defender by a mile today, a really good player, but he can still take him on the outside and curl it for the winner. He has the experience, he knows he's in a good position, that he's going to get fouled or he's going to score it. So Cork are back in a good place. I would have thought they were, staring defeat halfway through it, but fair play to them.
Talk to me about Mayo, because they made an impressive start at the beginning of the league campaign, and people were kind of marking them down as a team to watch, and now it seems to suddenly have kind of drifted off track. Yeah, with the game against Dublin next week to now contend with. And that's not going to be easy, obviously, and then Kerry to finish away from home. So there's character building games coming up very quickly for them. In the context of the championship, which is what every team is going to look at, I think they'll be happy enough. Right. If I had one concern for them, it's the form of probably their best forward, Cillian O'Connor. I saw him playing during the week. He looked very tired. I saw him playing again today. He was the Young Player of the Year last year. And it's just not happening for him. But in terms of their development, I would say Mayo should be happy enough. They're in the mix. A lot of teams in the mix for next weekend. Or they're 2 weeks' time. There's nothing decided yet at all. Not at all, of course. Now, our final report here on the programme comes from the Athletic Grounds in Armagh. Now, down with the visitors, as the home side were hoping to move themselves off the bottom of the Division 1A table. Our reporter is Jackie Hurley.
It was a week to forget for Armagh, which they duly did when they invited their near neighbours and local rivals down to the Morgan Athletic Grounds last night before a big crowd, which delayed the throw-in time by 10 minutes. Armagh were quickest out of the blocks when they began with a fine point by midfielder Peter Gallagher to nudge them too clear early on. The teams traded score for score until a superb solo effort by Kevin McKernan gave Down a 3-point cushion approaching the break. Armagh did manage to reduce the gap by half-time to the slimmest of margins, helped by an exquisite example of free-taking by Michael Stevenson. They drew level early in the second half through cornerback Finian Moriarty, swinging over a fantastic left-footed score. Then came the game's big moment. Kieran McKeever saw his fisted effort come back off the post to cause consternation in the Down square. Verlin Rafferty was quickest to react and looked to shoot, with the Down defence scrambling. Referee David Coldrick adjudged Conor Garvey's challenge to be a foot block and duly awarded a penalty, dispatched with aplomb by Brian Mallon. Advantage Armagh. To their credit, Down fought back, and when Mark Poland drew the game level, a draw seemed the likely and fairest result on the night. But up stepped young Michael Stevenson once again to demonstrate the art of free-taking is alive and well. He secured a valuable 2 points and a 1-point win for Armagh in a scoreline of Armagh 114, Down 16 points.
I know character's a word to be used, very easy sometimes, but tonight the team definitely showed character. We had had a difficult couple of weeks and things hadn't gone that well for us, but we showed tonight that we can play good football and we can match the best. And I'm just particularly pleased for the panel of players, because it has been a difficult few weeks for them. They've trained very, very hard. The spirit has kept very good, and everybody has stayed very much together, and I think that showed in the performance tonight.
Yeah, happy enough with that, but we were talking to Harding a little bit earlier on about the controversial penalty at the end of the Offaly-Limerick match, and we had another penalty here.
Yeah, and in the context of the match, it was a crucial one. They were level pegging at the time, and goals were very hard come by. But David Coldrick was refereeing it last night, Michael. It was absolutely flawless. It was fantastic. And that's at Eamon Kinsella in the Dublin Donegal game as well. This is clearly a foot block. He leads with his foot to the ball. An aggressive foul in the small rectangle or the large rectangle is a penalty, and the referee spots it immediately. There it is. Foot boot moving towards the kicker.
Yes.
Brian Mallon brilliantly dispatches it, but definitely a penalty. Fantastic spot by the referee, and as I said, in the context of the game, this was a crucial goal, and it was enough to see Armagh just fall over the line in a very, very exciting match.
And also the thing about it is, this is one of the things that comes to this stage of the league. A loss there, they're in relegation trouble. They win, and now they move into a nice enough, comfortable position, or at least for the moment anyway.
And in 2 weeks' time, still, I think Kerry are qualified. I could make that much out from the table.
Yes.
So much to play for. Exactly what you're saying. You have a good day, you're going in the right direction. Lost, wrong direction. But still, all to play for.
Yeah, it's a bit of a sprint, these leagues. In actual fact, let's take a look at the Football League tables, and obviously we're going to start with Division 1 there, and there's confirmation of the kind of things that we're talking about. On Laois, I'm afraid a bit of work to do, as Donegal and Mayo have.
Yeah. But Kerry again, topsy-turvy league, but Kerry, Cork and Dublin in the top 4, so topsy-turvy, not really.
Sure. Let's have a look at the situation then in Division 2, because this is also very interesting. You have Tyrone are through, obviously, the playoffs.
Yeah.
Kildare and Galway play each other the next game.
Yeah, Galway at home. Now that's a massive match, and that'll tell both sides exactly where they are as they prepare for championship. Couldn't end better the final day of the league. Down at the other end, Meath and Louth are going to clash, and that's going to decide who's moving up and who's moving down.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on. Now, Longford are also going well, and a good job being done by their manager there.
Yeah. Well, we can say tonight they're qualified. Absolutely, they got the draw last night, and fair play to them. Glenn Ryan has stuck with them, and I know they have a huge desire to play at a higher level. Their football, they're coming on very well, and you have to take your hat off to them. Great result for them.
And Wexford also going very well there. Their footballers, of course, going much better than the hurlers at the moment.
A little bit to do yet, though. Again, as in 2 weeks' time, we'll decide.
Of course,
everything.
Yeah. We've talked a couple of times about Fermanagh and the job that Peter Canavan is doing there, but of course, as you can see from the table, Clare have also now joined them up at the top of the division there.
Yeah. Good win today for them in London, and it puts them in a good position, but still nothing absolutely copper fastened yet.
All right, Kevin, thanks very much for that. And in fact, that's our lot for this evening. But just before we go, we're going to take a look ahead to next week's programme. We bring you highlights of the top games in the Allianz Leagues and, of course, studio analysis as well. And as usual, we're back here on RTE2 television at 8 o'clock. And also, by the way, next weekend there's more live coverage of some of those games on GAA Bio programme that's on TG Car, and that is starting at 2 o'clock. OK, that's a wrap from us then for tonight on League Sunday, and many thanks, of course, to Kevin for his company for this part of the programme. But this week saw the communities of Melbourne and Dublin join in mourning the passing of a true great. He was a giant of a man in stature and deed, and his untimely departure from this life will be marked with a state funeral in the Victorian capital on Tuesday next. Now, paying our tribute before we go, we leave you with a brief reminder of the enduring legend that is Jim Stynes.
10 consecutive spreading a rather more profound message. Take over the reins this week as chairman of the Melbourne Jim Stynes bravely reveals he's battling cancer. AFL great Jim Stynes fight for life.
Yeah, there's not a football supporter that doesn't wish him the best.
Jim Stynes has been awarded the Order of Australia for his work with the Reach Foundation.
You know, there's a great quote by the Dalai Lama where he says, if you really want to understand life, you've got to begin with death. And I just think that there's just such great wisdom in it, because if you can let go of that fear in life, then you can do anything. You know, it just allows you to really let go and chase the things that you really want to do in your life and live out the life you were born to live.